Over the past few years, Access has highlighted the work of Rutland High School teachers. Several are pushing for excellence in their classrooms through innovation, technology, and creativity, along with continuing their own education at global summits. Marcia Castle and Jen Kravitz, both Rutland Fellows, traveled this fall to Qatar for the WISE, World Innovation Summit and Education Conference. During their trip, the pair connected with Rutland High School alum Andy Cunningham, class of 2004. He's a senior researcher for the Education Above All Foundation, one of the conference sponsors. The three join us today to talk about the state of education both here and abroad. The WISE conference brought together teachers, policy leaders, and education experts from across the world to Qatar for 4 days of exchanging ideas, discussing teaching styles, and how to implement creative elements into the classroom. PhD candidate at Oxford University and a 2004 graduate of Rutland High School, Andy Cunningham was at the conference as a senior researcher for one of the two organizations sponsoring the event.
I was pleasantly surprised that Rutland High School was represented not only by a senior researcher but by practicing teachers, and not only for this first year but actually as a second year. I worked with many of the senior policymakers, and they were most impressed by a single tweet that was given by someone who's named Jen Kravitz.
Jen Kravitz, a teacher at Rutland and a Rutland Fellow, used social media to connect with the conversation happening in front of her. One simple tweet from @Jen Kravitz quickly turned into a major talking point. She was responding to the lack of action in global education financing from the U.S. after Norway said it would double its commitment.
And Jen Kravitz tweets and says, this is really great for Norway. Where are you at Barack Obama? And that tweet made it up onto the stage and then was retweeted by the Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations and retweeted and became one of the most retweeted elements of the entire 4-day conference. And this is with over 1,000 people attending from all over the world.
I'm a school teacher from Vermont, but yet I'm having a larger impact on a conversation. And whether that's actually being read by whoever handles Barack Obama's Twitter, who knows? But the fact that it was talked about by other people was pretty cool.
When I was speaking with the director of programming for the Education Above All Foundation, he asked me directly, "Who's this Jen Kravitz? Twitter? What is this?" And I said, "Well, she's actually a teacher at my old high school." And he says, "That's amazing that a school in comparatively rural Vermont is a player at a global conference." And I actually don't think that's surprising. Looking at the type of initiatives and the type of interdisciplinary approaches that the Rutland Foundation and really geniuses such as Marcia and Jen are, I think it's becoming a natural fit for Rutland High School to be a player at the global stage and not just hear about these things on the radio and the news. I was most excited about this ABC News coverage for the cyberbullying and the cyber U, and then the Post-its of kindness. I mean, those are the type of solutions that resonate with not only schools in Vermont or even New England, but really around the world. And the fact that Rutland High Schools is at the forefront of some of these really hot topics and some of these intractable issues, it makes you really proud to be an alum, and it makes you inspired to actually think about what more is going on in Rutland High School and how could I learn about it.
The WISE conference helped bring to light policy issues and how policy changes could help 58 million currently without access to education.
I just feel like we can learn a lot from the world, and I think the world can learn a lot from us, and so we should really have this dialogue, and we should be exposed on an international stage, not just in a Vermont or a New England stage.
Both Marcia Castle and Jen Kravitz say the conference was reassurance that RHS is on the right track with education and in a lot of ways on the cutting edge.
It was an amazing professional development opportunity that I'm so thankful that the Rutland Foundation is able to support this work. And because I feel like we do a lot of great stuff in Vermont, and we do a lot of great stuff in this high school and in this district, but to be on an international stage and to have these conversations, not just with teachers, but with business people and with NGOs and with policymakers to say, look, this is what we're doing, and people say, oh, that's great, or to hear about the trends in education and to think, oh, we're already doing that, or we're heading in that direction. It's really affirming to know that as a school and as a district, we're heading in the right direction and that we're doing all this cutting edge stuff.
It's nice to know that, we're in a good place in terms of the world stage of education. We're progressing nicely. We have things to offer, we have things to learn, and we can help those behind us, give them a hand up, and look to the models that are out there.
As a world language teacher, the trip to Qatar was truly exciting for Marcia. She says it's nice to know RHS is one of the pack leaders, not just a bystander.
Not just to be witnessing what other people are doing. We have something to offer, we have something to learn. I learned things that I could incorporate in my classroom. I met the former Prime Minister of Haiti, and we talked about things that I could do with French and also with service opportunities with the kids in the upper levels.
A recent example of RHS showing its strength was the takedown of the after-school app and students taking a stand against cyberbullying. The teachers say it's inspiring to see their students get involved. The trip to Qatar was made possible thanks to the Rutland Foundation, of which Marcia and Jen are fellows.